guys, I'm Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I really want to share with you my recipe for my sausage and broccoli rabe burgers. Now, sausage and broccoli rabe is a classic Italian combo that in my household anyway, I make sausage and broccoli rabe pasta, chicken and broccoli rabe sandwiches. Broccoli rabe goes really well with chicken and sausage. I cannot get enough of these burgers in the summertime. They're so easy and simple to make. You just need a handful of ingredients. You'll need some fresh broccoli rabe that you've trimmed and cleaned and washed. I've got some ground turkey. I've got some mild pork sausage, salt-free steak seasoning, salt and pepper, olive oil, hot pepper flakes, and some garlic. Boom. You'll need some buns, burger buns, and some sharp provolone to end this whole thing off with. But for now, we're going to get going on starting off with the broccoli rabe. I've got some olive oil in my skillet here. To that, I'm going to add in a couple cloves of garlic. Well, 3, because I like garlic, but you don't have to add as much. Now, broccoli rabe is very bitter, and that's personally what I love about it. And in my home and my family, we never sort of boil it first and then saute it. A lot of people do that to get rid of some of that bitterness, but we don't. It's not how I've ever done it. We kind of groove on that bitterness, because to me, that's broccoli rabe. So if it's too strong for you, I suggest maybe you could use some spinach if you don't really like the flavor of broccoli rabe. The only difference is, really, when it comes to the spinach, you won't need to cook it as long. You'll need to cook it for just a minute, because otherwise it wilts really quickly. So you can use that if you want. To my garlic and olive oil, I'm going to add in a pinch of hot pepper flakes. As much or as little as you like. I'm just going to let this come to temperature and the garlic to become really fragrant and lightly golden, and then we'll add in our broccoli rabe. My garlic is really fragrant, looking good. Turn this down a bit. I'm going to add in my broccoli rabe. It's going to splash because the broccoli rabe is wet. No fear. Be all right. Just going to put a lid on it. Putting this down to low, getting rid of this extra water, and I'm just going to let those wilt a little bit. In the meantime, we're going to make our burgers, which really and truly couldn't be easier. The reason why I use a combination of the pork sausage and the ground turkey is because I don't want them to be too fatty, because otherwise it's just too much grease, and I don't enjoy that. So the combination of both, in my opinion, is a match made in heaven. I need a little extra black pepper, a good amount of salt, and again, whenever you're buying, steak seasoning or any kind of pre-made seasoning, always make sure you buy them salt-free, because otherwise they're so salty it'll ruin your whole dish, because by the time you put enough in there to really taste it, your food will be way too salty. So everything you should buy always salt-free. Mix that together until you've got everything combined. That looks good. I'm just going to dip my hands in water so that nothing sticks. I'm going to make 4 really big burgers out of this, because I'm going to take 2 of them tonight and, serve them on a bun and whatnot. And then I'm going to take 2, I'm going to pop them in the fridge after I cook them, and that way we can have them for lunch tomorrow with a side salad or something instead of putting them on a bun. Now, I'm just forming my patties, making an indent in the center, because what happens is as they cook, the center is going to puff up, and that way they'll be nice and even. I've got my patties all ready. It's time to head on over to the grill and grill these babies up. I've got my grill nice and hot over about medium heat. Now it's time to grill these babies up. Now you want to make sure you keep an eye on them, because you don't want the heat to be too hot and then burn the outside before the insides are even cooking. But you certainly don't want the heat to be too cold that it's not getting a good char and grill flavor and grill marks and all that fun stuff. Just be careful. The one thing I'm going to tell you is you got to close the lid. Otherwise, all the heat is going out. So close the lid. 7 to 8 minutes on each side should do the trick. I'm just going to wash my hands, get a clean plate, and get everything ready to pretty much assemble. Isn't that amazing how much it shrank to pretty much nothing? It only took, 4 or 5 minutes, just the time I was outside putting the burgers on the grill. It wilted. It's good to go. I added just a small little splash of water, just a couple tablespoons, not too much. Now I'm going to cook this over medium heat, uncovered, for another 4 minutes or so, or until they're cooked down just a little bit more, because even though they've definitely shrunk a whole lot, they're still kind of, a little bit tough. So they're just going to go for another 3 to 4 minutes, and I want to also get all that water to evaporate as well. And then we're pretty much ready to assemble this baby and get to eating them. I cooked my burgers on the grill for about 7 minutes on each side. They do shrink considerably, so that's why I always make them a little bit on the larger side. Otherwise, you're going to end up with things that are like this big. And all I did the last minute or so of the burgers cooking on the second side, I just put a slice of provolone on there just so it melts beautifully, and that's it. You can serve this with any condiments you like, but if you're in an Italian household, you will never dare put ketchup or mayo or mustard on sausage or broccoli rabe. Anything. So I'm leaving it all behind because I don't think it needs it. We got the broccoli rabe that we cooked earlier. It's ready to go. It is getting really, really hot out in here because it's really hot out, which is why I'm finishing this up in here rather than outside. Cut this up. It's pretty big as well. Let's see. Look at that. It's very good. Tastes exactly like it should. It's a little hot still. It's easy to put together. A total classic. Head on over to LauraInTheKitchen.com and get the recipe. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.